put up a clip of those young boys who were in HK, Hustlers Kingdom. Let's start from the beginning. How did you get the wind of this whole thing? I know in the video you talked about one of them calling their mom and so on and so forth. Now the police itself, how did you get to hear about this? And is this the first time you are having this experience?
Okay, well, I cannot tell you this is the first time. The fact is that we know that there are HK in different parts of the country where they harbor boys and teach them the business of internet fraud. But the challenge is there are so many processes to arresting them, and you agree with me that even on radio program, which might include yours, issues of police are harassing young boys, always comes up. But the question we fail to ask at times is, these boys that we are claiming that police are arresting, why is it that 80% of the time they are people that cannot really lay claim to any source of livelihood? So it is not just about we, the police. The country, they know. If we say we don't know, we are deceiving ourselves. To answer your first question, yes, like I earlier stated in that press briefing, one of them raised an alarm, contacted the mom, who has a link with the military, and called on the military, and they raided that place massively, where 123 suspects were arrested. Sorry.
I know you're tired,
and some of them were within the age of 17 to 20. People that are supposed to be in the university, they have chosen the career of Yahoo University.
Wow.
Where they are training them. From what I heard, once they have been able to pick about $10,000, that is when they will now be seen as graduates and allowed to run on their own.
After 10K, they are now graduates.
Yes, after they have been able to fraudulently collect $10,000 from their victims, then they can now graduate. Graduation in this case means that is the only condition that they will be allowed to go out of the HK. HK means Hustlers Kingdom.
Now, the Hustlers Kingdom is, or the one that you busted, was inside an estate. For 123 people to be inside a building, you hardly see people coming out the way they are going in. Did the estate itself not find anything strange? Were they not vigilant enough to have noticed that something was happening in that particular building?
It is not just a building. An estate can comprise of 50 houses, 100 houses. You understand?
Yeah.
So the thing is that they just major in this estate where they can occupy 5 to 10 different flats, being controlled by 2 or 3 persons. And they don't actually come out. So you can't really tell the number of boys that are inside. Because you have from their statement, they don't come out. They are not allowed to communicate with their family members. So you may not want to blame the
estate,
other members of the estate, yes, or the owner of the estate.
You see, the place, my hood at a point, I had mentioned when we're having a residents association meeting and all that, property owners and residents, and I told them that I am noticing the influx of a certain type of young people. I'm not being biased here. I have an idea of how they look sometimes, not all the times. And I was telling them, this is going to put this estate in a bad light. What are we doing? And true to form, it got to a point the EFCC started raiding that place a lot, NDLEA and so on. And I think that estates and so on could have some security tips they could watch out for, or things they could put in place to help themselves. As one who has seen a lot of this, as one who is in the police force, you understand what investigations and being very vigilant is all about. What would you say to estates, residents, property owners, associations, that they could do to help the police in forestalling the growth of these HQs, because they don't grow in the air?
In our press releases, we always add kindly members of the public are urged to report any suspicious persons or movement within their environment. Policing is everybody's business. I always tell those who care to listen, you are your first policeman in your house. When you lock your door, when you ensure that your doors are locked, your gates are locked, you get a security camera, security dog, you are doing the job of the police. But this time you are policing yourself. What we advise is, we got this information through one of them. We could have as well gotten this information from any member of that estate, which would have helped us to unravel this long before now. So what members of the public are advised to do is, when they see, like the alarm you raise now, I doubt if you inform the police, which would have been the right thing to do. Not just raising it among your neighbors, but informing the police, sir, we have suspicious looking boys in our area. Part of the powers of police is to invite any person on suspicion. It is part of our powers. We can search any apartment on suspicion provided we have an approved search warrant. So giving us this information will help. Once you discover anything suspicious in your area, quickly go to the nearest police station. If you don't trust the junior ranks, you can request to see the DPO. You can request to talk to the PRO. You can request for the DPO's number through the PRO, access to the DPO, and let them know what you are suspecting.
For the benefit of people who didn't get to watch the video that you shared, I watched it, so I'm able to refer to it. There are people who didn't watch it, who didn't even know such a thing happened. Can you share with us again that whole experience, what the boys told you, how some of them got there, and the things you also discovered from this 123 young men that you arrested in that HQ? HK.
Okay, it may interest the audience to know. I've even gotten tired of taking calls, sending me names of their
loved
17
ones.
years, 16 years, 18 years, those ones that they have not seen for 2 weeks. And when you ask them, have you reported that your child is missing at the police station? They say no, which means they know what the child must have gone to do. Now, while I'm bringing this up, is people should be aware that there are agents out there who are looking for HK students. What do? They make it look like they are rich and they are living well. Drive flashy cars, expensive clothes, expensive handsets, wristwatches and other things. And make this their friends who might be in need to come and say, bros, I beg, that's your 100 better, I beg, if you give me 100K. And they will tell them, it was even gushing out blood. So that is what they do. Now, for those who witness the beating of another, they don't want to get beaten too. So they will say, I beg, for me to collect this kind of beat, let me just comply. So basically, they lure them, either in deceit or pretense. But when they get to the estate or the apartment, no going back. They seize their handsets, they seize their phones. Hence the reason why some of these persons who are calling me is because even though they know their loved ones might be okay, they have not heard from them, so they are worried. So that's the issue. And this is also to let you know that the HK in Warri is not the only HK around. We are working to unravel others and maybe position in the state.
You know, in that state, I'm from Delta. There was a point when I went to Delta, what was raining there was the stealing of ladies' underwears, pants, aka pints. I remembered the year I was there, they had even robbed a vehicle that was carrying women to the market in around Kwale or so, and they just asked them to remove their briefs, their underwears. And since that point, then I was at a particular hotel in Isoko. The boys were so many there, but when they would see us, they'll start dodging, not knowing who these older people are. They'll start dodging. It looks like it's quite rampant in Delta State right now, and I'm complaining about it every day on the air when I have the opportunity. What is the plan to really help rid that state of this quick urge to become rich that suddenly has engulfed the young people in that state? Even though I know it's a lot of places, though, I'm speaking for the one I've seen. Yeah.
That is where I want to correct. They say where your treasure is, and there your heart there. So I perfectly understand, owing to the fact that you are from Delta State. But it is not just a Delta thing. It is a national issue that must be addressed nationally. I've always said it. National Assembly has never for once, to me, addressed this issue. I believe they should, because it is a very serious issue. It is a very, very serious issue. New laws should be made to make it easy to prosecute these people. You get? It's not just a Delta State issue. If they are in Lagos, they are in Abuja, they are in Port Harcourt, they are in Ogun State.
Everywhere.
Everywhere, except for the north. I don't know. I have never lived there for long, so I don't really know, apart from FCT. Only once or twice that happened in Delta. Most of them is even in Ondo State. So it's not something that is peculiar to Delta State alone. So why I would prefer address the issue generally. The quest for quick wealth. What gives rise to it? It is because parents refuse to teach their children morals as they are growing up. School refuse to teach these students morals. For instance, my daughter today was crying that she wanted rice. She was given spark. And I told her there are people who cannot get rice, cannot get spark, cannot even get gari. I said, so learn to thank God for the little that you have. Guess what? She instantly stopped crying. And I noticed that our countenance from sad changed to being happy. I'm telling you this morning story. I didn't know this issue would come up, but I'm just letting you know where we are getting it wrong. We will no longer teach our children contentment. We no longer teach them morality, no good values. Rather, we'll sit down and wait for our child who is not doing any job to come home with a vehicle of 40 million naira. We will have cases where churches accept tithes from these boys, knowing that they are not even doing anything to earn a living. So it's a societal issue that we must address. Now, the calamity of today did not start today. It started years ago. Now, avoid another calamity in 20 years' time. When is the best time to start? Now. Those that are giving birth to their children now should know that it is not too late to start teaching them good values. It is very, very important because greed has come in. Parental greed has come in. Parental inefficiency has come in. Societal vices too is helping in a negative way. So we must come together and tackle this.
You know, you referred to parents just now, and we're on the same boat in that, because I think a lot of parents are failing in what they need to do. I'll give you an instance. I'm aware, I've heard from authentic sources, how parents even sell land, sell property to buy laptop for their children to go to the HK to go and learn. A caller had called on this program once. I was telling us about a woman who knew what was going on, but she just wanted to at least benefit that her children, they do something for her to not be good. So for such parents, when you interview these children and you find out that their parents actually encouraged them, even provided for them to go for such trainings, what do? Do you usually pick the parents up, or you just leave them? What is the plan with such parents?
It depends on the the confession of the suspect. It is not everybody that will want to come and tell you my parents that pushed me into it. If we cannot establish conspiracy, we cannot do anything to the parents. We can only advise them to train their children properly. However, when we are able to establish a link to the crime, why not? They can go in for it. But for us to just wake up and say, any child that is doing Yahoo, arrest the parents, that will be arresting in lieu, which is something we have always spoken against, and it's not the right thing to do. But we always encourage parents to do the right thing. Even if you pick up the parents can tell you, I bought a laptop for my child. Is that an offense? I did not tell the child to go and do Yahoo. I only bought a laptop for my child because I feel he needs a laptop. So you see, it is more on morality. And don't forget that every person that commits offense know that they are committing an offense. So they always prepare a defense. In that video, I interviewed a 17-year-old boy who insisted that he was learning forex and crypto.
The one from Akwa Ibom?
No. I think I interviewed one from Akwa Ibom. That one I was live. Unless if you watch my live. That was when I had that interview. I think it's the one from Akwa Ibom. No, this one from Akwa Ibom actually said the truth. The other one is not from Akwa Ibom. The one from Akwa Ibom actually told me he came to learn the business of Yahoo. But the other one said he's little forex and crypto. He insisted. But me, I understand forex, and I say, tell me about forex. He could not say a pin about forex. So off record, I now told him, I understand you are trying to put up a defense, but this your lifestyle is not good for you. Stop it. If you don't know that what you are doing is wrong now, you cannot stop it. So that was the conversation. You discover that they know they are committing an offense, and they know how to meander through it. They try to get their defense. One or two of the chairmen there, you saw that they were so relaxed.
Wait, chairman, the HK has chairman.
Yes, we arrested two of them who were standing apart, and they were saying, I teach them forex, I teach them crypto, and they were saying it with so much confidence and impunity because they feel they can buy their way out of justice. Well, like I said, we have done our bits and charged to court. It's now left for the judiciary to do their own.
And hopefully those who actually were lured there against their will may find some soft landing. And I'm wondering, have their parents started showing, aside the calls you've been receiving? Has any parent at all shown up?
Well, I have a lot of job on my hands. So what they do, whoever calls me, I tell them, just go to Ekpa and find out. That is what I've been telling them. So I believe some of them have been going. That Bola who came all the way from Ibadan.
The Alpha?
I believe they must have located him now.
That's the one who came to town, who met a friend that he wanted to go to Egypt, the Alpha, right? Okay.
Yes, you got it.
Okay. All right. Let me quickly read. Okay. Sorry, that sound is the WhatsApp call trying to disrupt. Please, if you're the one calling me on WhatsApp, please discontinue that call. Please, just discontinue that call. I'll be able to take it. Now, let me quickly read a couple of messages. On YouTube, I have Dube Hills. Dube Hills saying, may God help us in this Nigeria, because Nigeria government caused all this hunger everywhere. And you're saying it's basically hunger everywhere. But I would say not everybody when they're hungry, they do bad thing now. Drachi Eremi B, you said good morals, and also a police officer whose salary is less than 3 million per annum annually, but driving expensive cars and big houses. I didn't see the remaining part of your message. Maybe you're saying that that too should be probed, probably. And I got this message from WhatsApp where this person had to share with me how somebody, even this very morning, was trying to hack his account. My brother Nogro, that one now from HK. And it happened to me last year. I came back from Dubai. The next morning, Access Bank sent me a message. After like 10 minutes, a guy called me and said he's from Access Bank. I said, okay. He said, I need to upgrade my account. The next thing I saw is code per attitude, and the guy called me and requested for the code. I received an SMS which I sent back to him. Lady, see the next thing. I started getting alerts. Before I go reach Access Bank, 850K gone. What? Nigeria beat me like Ghana that very day, losing 850K just for nothing. Casey Onoha from Ojo Alaba was the one who just shared that experience with me. Just like that, sent a code, and that's gone. Based on all the experiences you've had and things you've seen, what would be the tips you could share with people right now as per being able to overcome any cyber crime attempt being meted out on them?
Unless you are inside the bank, you have no business sending your code to anybody. Unless you are inside the bank, don't send your code to anybody. And let me tell you another thing they do. They can even create a link and customize the link to read the website of the bank. And in that link, they will send you a code. You enter the code there.
Edafe, please give me a second. Please, if you're the one calling the WhatsApp line, could you discontinue that call, please? Unfortunately, I'm not able to access it here. I can't seem to get it. Discontinue that call you're trying to place through. All right? Sorry about that. It's still there. It's still there. Dafe, just give me a second. I'm trying to get rid of this particular call that is tampering with your own side of the conversation right now. Okay, carry on, please. Sorry about that. You said unless you're in the bank, you have no business.
So unless you're in the bank, you have no business sending your PIN or two-factor or a 6-digit password or code to anybody. Don't send. It's all lies. It's all lies. The bank will never call you to send any of those things. The bank will only call you to come to the bank. That's one. Secondly, it's only one person that condemn this thing we have been discussing outrightly. The last two messages you read, condemn it in parts and also look for justification, which is not right. The government is not responsible for any crime, because when you get to court, you cannot tell court that I did it because the government are not functioning. No. All man to himself. You answer your papa name in court. So that is out of it. And a policeman, well, I'm glad you said the policeman is actually working. And if there is a fault and the system believes that is into anything mischievous, the system will look into it. That's the fact. And you don't just wake up and say a policeman. If you have an issue with any policeman, mention a name, give evidence and facts. You don't just say it. In a same country, in a normal society, let me use that word, you don't just come and accuse people anyhow. If you do, they will sue you for defamation. And in Nigeria, it still happens. But like I said, when nothing happen, nothing happen. It dey happen. So we should be careful what will come on social media to say. Nigeria is not a lawless country. Nigeria will never be a lawless country. We'll continue to do our best. There's no society that is completely free of crime. We'll continue to do our best. Thank you.
Okay, let me share this one that Stanley said. Stanley sent this one in and he's saying, your guest that's been SP Edafe Bright said something that's true but could still be deadly. I quote him when he was alluding to what you said when you said he suspected the influx of those young boys in your state. Did you report to the police? He put that in bold. We have heard on several occasions where you see suspects coming after those who reported them to the police. See, people are scared reporting suspicious matters to the police for fear of being trailed. Please, ma, ask your guest, how is the security of the life of the reporter guaranteed? Thank you. Even me, I thought of that when you said, did you tell the police? In my mind, I was like, I tell chairman of a state to get power to follow up. You know, that fear is always there when they ask you, did you report the thing to the police? So it's asking us now. That is the question from Stanley. How is the security of the life of that person?
There is this challenge we have in terms of giving information to the police. We have this level of pride in us. When we give information to the police and the police is working, that person who gave information to the police, to some extent, wants to take a little percentage of glory. Now, what do? They share with their friends. Now, me tell them, those they feel they trust. Now, if that information leak, you now say it was the police you told. You get my point. You know that you have told your dad, your mom, your siblings, your friends, and the police. Now it leak and you say the police you tell.
What if you told one like case you didn't tell anybody, and maybe
I'm giving you
a step by step of
probability. What I'm giving you is based on experience.
Okay.
Who gave the information? Know your name and know your address. Who gave the information? Know your name and know your address. You get the point. So which means the only possibility is that after we have successfully done the work, he went about announcing to the world, saying, Nahin, tell us. Because we don't know him, we don't know his house, we don't know his name. So how were we able to now tell the kidnappers, saying that Mr. So, Nahin, tell us who?
Okay, so Edafe, generally, what is the protocol for whistleblowers? How to go about whistleblowing? Are there numbers people could send messages to? And for whistleblowing, there's usually a clause that says that this and that. What is the clause, security clause, for people who will be whistleblowing to the police?
When I started that issue of giving information to the police, I was clear when I said, if you don't trust the junior ranks, ask for a direct access to the DPO. The DPO, they are the most senior officer in the division, in the police station. And if others may be found culpable of not treating your identity with confidentiality, the DPO should be able to do that. Or you reach out to the PRO. I have DM. I read all my messages on my DM. I don't respond to all. If I respond to you, just know that you are making sense. If I don't, you are not making sense. That's the truth. Because I don't have the time to respond to all messages, but I read all. If you now say, I have a very serious security information to give to you, what will I do? I will drop my phone number. Reach out to me. But by the time you say, I'm based in Lagos or somebody is owing me money, I will not answer you. You get? I just gave a very clear example of.
I know you responded to me via DM now. I jumped into your DM.
No, because you were making sense.
Before, you know, no side they make sense. Leave that side. They make sense every time.
No. What I'm trying to say is, others can jump into my DM. Others can jump into my DM and say, my sister is beating me every day in the house, and I'm based in Abuja. I will not answer you.
Why?
Because
what can parents watch out? What can parents watch out for in their kids to suspect that something is going wrong, especially in this area of cybercrime?
Okay, in Nigeria today, people may say I'm profiling, which is not wrong to profile. I once argued it on Twitter. It is not wrong to profile. It is part of our job to profile. So if I profile a young boy, I'm not doing anything wrong. Part of the things to look out for is their peer group. These guys, 95% of them are on dread. They wear big clothes. Their trouser is on behind their buttocks. That is a red flag. So when you see your child going around with people like that match this description, it is a red flag. And it does not just stop in Yahoo. They've get them involved with drugs and in their end, and other things that will keep them awake at night when they are supposed to be sleeping.
Because they work more at night?
Obviously. You hardly see anyone that does not do drugs. Is that maybe 10%? Remaining 90% they are into drugs. I think maybe that's God's own way of punishing them. I don't know. Because they are always into drugs. So that's one. Secondly, You should be mindful of the whereabouts of your child at every point, which buttresses the point that we no longer care about male children. We are all concerned about building the structure, the life of our daughters, so that they will not be defied, they will not get spoiled, and leave the children, the male ones, to roam as they like. And before you know, they get into the wrong association and they derail. So that's another red flag. If your child all of a sudden disappears, just like the way some are calling me now that they have not seen their 16-year-old, 17-year-old son for 2-3 weeks or a month, these are red flags that we must look out for and ensure that we're able to balance it, monitor them, talk to them every day, and ensure that they grow up upright.
Thank you so much, Bright Edafe, SP Bright Edafe. He is the police PR, and that is in Delta State. He talked to us now from Asaba, Delta State, and we've been talking about the HK that was discovered recently in Warri, where 123 young lads were arrested, and the is still ongoing. They'll be in court, and I'm very sure when there is need for an update, he will be available to update us. Edafe Bright, SP, thank you so much, and do have a beautiful day.
Thank you, our audience. Thank you for having me.
All right, stay well. Bye-bye. You're listening
Bye.
to VOP 90.3 FM, City of Lagos. We've been speaking with the police PRO, Delta State Command, SP Bright Edafe, and that was it. That story blew, eh? Oh God. Just go online and look for them, and you get to see some of them get